A very warm welcome to you, and thank you so much for joining our Homeopathy 24/7 podcast. We are going to be speaking to an array of international guests who will share their knowledge and experiences of homeopathy with you. We will discuss all types of subjects such as remedies, symptoms, and stories of health. No matter where you are with your homeopathic journey, we aim to inspire you on your quest to natural health and living. The podcast is brought to you by Mary Greensmith, the founder of Homeopathy 24/7, which is a global platform connecting you with a homeopath wherever you are in the world, 24 hours a day. So let's get started with today's chat. Please welcome Mary Greensmith.
Hello everybody, lovely to see you. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I'm really pleased to welcome back Bartosz Dziemidowicz. How did I do with your name, Bart?
No, it was very good pronunciation. And Mary, I have to say, I'm very happy to be back. And I think, that's very happy to do another episode. This time slightly different, but I think I'm gonna do more.
Well, it's so exciting, Bart, because you are really doing so much with homeopathy, and I know that you've got some brilliant ideas, and you are starting some fantastic communities. So tell us about this new community that you're creating.
Oh, I have come up with an idea about creating a group, homeopathic group, which will be addressing heart and cardiovascular disease. So it's basically, I want to call it homeopathy for heart and cardiovascular disease. And what we want to talk about is any issues affecting, that system or heart. But I think, we want to go slightly further, because I think heart problems is not only just physical manifestation, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, anginas, strokes. It also, does have a huge mental and emotional aspect. So, we've got, thousands of rubrics in repertory for broken heart, lonely heart, and this applies to any kind of, mood disorders, depression, endless list.
Yeah, so you're going to be covering a huge amount of topics just within this, and it's just so needed, and so many people will be really interested in what you're doing here, because of course we use communities to get together, to chat with experts, to find out what other people are doing, and of course to give people the opportunity to do something different, to realize that there are other things that you can do, especially for common things like cholesterol and high blood pressure.
Well, I think this is a common opinion or common belief that homeopathy only addresses or deals with acute ailments. I think, this cannot be further from truth. Homeopathy is so versatile. Homeopathy can work on many chronic problems and illnesses, out of which cholesterol and blood pressure is, a huge part of it. And as you have said, we can show to people that homeopathy can deal with those issues. Homeopathy can be at least us, but it is far much better treatment, which can be applied to those conditions, and much more beneficial. I think everyone who's got, that kind of problem will have a choice. Okay, which they would have to at some stage decide which way they want to go. Of course, there would be dietary changes, lifestyle changes, and so on and so on. But if you were to choose a treatment, you've got two choices. Homeopathy in this case is non-toxic, doesn't have side effects, is safe. Homeopathy doesn't suppress symptoms. Homeopathy treats the root cause of the problem. So I think we've got quite a lot of things to say here.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're so right. And just to help people understand that there is a choice there. And of course, we've used communities, we've used groups to be able to introduce homeopathy to people and how they can use it at home. But of course, homeopathy for deep-seated chronic disease is not really something that people can treat by themselves. But what they do need to do is learn that there is a choice, and how can they get in touch with professionals who help people in these instances.
Well, that is, very, very true, Mary, because we help people to learn about homeopathy. We help people to understand how homeopathy works. How can you use it? For what can you use it? We show people how to use it in many acute situations. Now, the difference here is that if you do have an episode of acute cardiovascular problem, that means already that your situation would be very much advanced. Yeah. Okay, I'm not saying that homeopathy cannot address it. Yes, it can, but I think what we want to show is that we can help with this, but also we can, go back and start peeling off those layers and reversing the situations. Of course, there would be modifiable factors in this process, which will belong solely to the person, when you have to address your diet, lifestyle, and so on and so on. But some of the things, complex, deeply rooted issues, I think they have to be assisted by a homeopath, because this will involve prescribing on many different levels.
Yeah, I completely agree. And of course, the wonderful thing about homeopathy is what it does allow you to do is take back responsibility of your own health and start to question, what is this doing to me? Is this helpful for my body? Does my body need this? Is this something that is feeding my body and helping with my body? So automatically, once we start going through the homeopathic process, we are thinking about the things that we put in our mouth. Is that useful for my body or not? And the things that we use in our environment, is that useful for our body?
Yes, but again, we're getting to the point when you can see how versatile homeopathy is. Because, for example, if we look at, cholesterol is much more, it's essential compound in a human body. It's an essential structural and physiological compound of the cells, very much needed for the nervous system. Brain is made out of it. I mean, not literally, not the whole, but it is needed for the nervous system and brain. Is used to produce hormones. It's used to produce bile and bile salts, which are essential for digestion. Vitamin D is produced in a body from cholesterol. So it is very much necessary, but the problem starts when there is imbalance in cholesterol metabolism. And this is the beginning of the problem. Now, the key organ which plays a major role in cholesterol metabolism is liver. Now in homeopathy, a lot of remedies which would be, for example, addressed to help with high cholesterol, or a lot of issues, this would be a lot of liver remedies. Nux vomica, chelidonium, lycopodium, they will have huge coverage for liver problems and digestive tract. Now, but also, if we look at those remedies, Nux vomica, for example, the factors which can be changed in the process of reducing cholesterol and so on. So we said lifetime factors. But if we look at Nux vomica, what we've got there, craving for stimulants. Nux vomica needs coffee to work, alcohol to sleep, and cigarette to have a break. Right. So then this is something which you also can help, because using homeopathy can help the person to change those habits, have slightly less of this, have slightly more of this. And, again, this is what people, I think it would be fantastic if, people would know more about how we can, how we can access those issues, what we can do with homeopathy. It's endless.
Yeah. And it's such a good opportunity for this conversation. And of course, to build a community where people know that they can come and they can learn from professionals like yourself about cholesterol, about good cholesterol and bad cholesterol, about what the blood tests show, and about the choices of how they can help their body be in optimum health, because that's what we're about, isn't it? It's about bringing your body back to the optimum health that we possibly can. And that's not just about seeing a professional. It's about understanding what you need to be doing as a person for your health, alongside the choices that you make.
Exactly. And you mentioned that we can, homeopathy can help us to take responsibility, that we have to take responsibility for our health, for our lives, and so on and so on. And homeopathy can be one of the things which assists you in this and aids you in this. Well, taking responsibility for your life, I think if I just, quote a couple of numbers, that cardiovascular disease as a package, because there's many of them,
yes,
are leading global cause of mortality, and a major contributor to disability. By I think 2000, by World Health Organization, cardiovascular disease was cause of death of, in recent years, it was cause of death of almost 20 million people, which is 1/3 of the all global deaths. And in these 20 million, 85% was caused by heart attack and stroke. Now, I think if you are early in this process, this is a good moment to take this responsibility for, for it, because you don't want to have acute, treatment for cardiovascular treatment. And I don't think anybody would ever, want to, end, with heart attack or stroke. I worked with a charity, called Different Strokes, and we used to believe that the stroke is a problem affecting elderly people. There were 20-something years, 20-something old, guys who were half paralyzed because of they had a stroke. So there's no rules anymore.
No, you're absolutely right.
And you know what? This 20 million. It is only people who have died because of cardiovascular disease. This number doesn't show how many of them is already treated, for cardiovascular problems. And well, again, if you look at another statistic, it shows you that, what is the lifespan, and how many years we spend living in health before we're gonna start being heavily medicated. So this is not 20 million. This is totally different number. I think there would be few more zeros to this. Sorry, Mary.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I absolutely agree with you.
And then again, for those people, there would be choice of treatment, responsibility and choice of treatment. How do we want to play with this? I think.
And that, of course, opens up another aspect of this, because so many people are put on statins, on blood pressure meds, and on cholesterol medications, and they're kept on them. They're not invited back to reconsider. It seems once you're on these medications, then you're expected to stay on them for life. Would people that are in this situation, would they be able to come into the community and learn a little bit about this? I mean, I know that as homeopaths, we can't take anybody off their medication, and nor would we ever want to, but just to help people learn that they can go back to their doctor and they can ask to, have their medications toned down and taken down very slowly, as long as they're tested, and they ought to be asking for that opportunity.
Oh, Mary, definitely. We already doing this in practice because, the patients who come to us, with those problems, first thing we're looking at, okay, how many different medications you on, and then obviously, as you said, when you start with statin, the beta blocker will follow. Then something to reduce, amount of water in the blood, but this causes blood being too thick. So then you have to have a warfarin to thin the blood, and it's endless. And as you say, you're not invited back to check to reassess it. But now what we're doing, you see, with our patients is we're saying, okay, how many of these do you have? What are the doses? Let's give it a run. Okay, yes. You may find very soon that the doses of medication you're taking might be too high for you. That you see, it's working, but your circumstances have changed, and now you need slightly less. So then we say, hey, why won't you go to your doctor? Okay, get checked, get reassessed, get those doses changed, because you may, for example, need less of it. Okay, exactly. You may need a different medication. Of course, it's not down to us to decide this, not down to us to, everything has to be, we work with doctors.
Exactly.
So, and there is so many doctors who say, hey, I'm fine with this, yes. As long as it's working. They've got your medical history, they see how it's changing, and they're gonna be quite happy to say, hey, I think you don't need this one anymore. Okay.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Then, of course, because when we're talking to our clients and we see the medications that they're on, and then we give a homeopathy remedy alongside, which of course is completely fine. Homeopathy works very, very well. That's why it's called a complementary medicine, and it can go with those. But as we are improving health, it might be that those medications quantities do need to be checked, because it is likely that you need less of them as you continue with homeopathic boosting your health response.
And you know what? I had one of my patients, you can't tell how much they are happier and lighter when they actually are in a good position to withdraw that medication. Yes. We spoken, a few weeks ago, and I was like, okay, so how much of this you taking now? I stopped taking it. I don't need to take this anymore. There were some, problems with, actually for, one of the things were calming tablets because of my heart and my palpitations. So I said, how is this going now? Oh, I don't take it. What we did, as you have said, we started alongside with those medications. But what was the case there, that person has got a history of very, very, a lot of trauma and a lot of grief. So as we have addressed those, suddenly the heart become calmer, happier, more joyous.
Yeah.
And so blood pressure, goes down. And so your mood improves.
And in fact, you've just hit the nail on the head there with saying that a grief, a trauma, or a big hormonal change often stimulates something that you go to the doctor for, and the doctor starts to put you on these medications. So it makes sense that as we start to have remedies that are helping with that original cause, then your body's going to react differently, and the medications that you need from your doctor might well change. So the importance of going back to your doctor to continue testing and continue seeing what medications you actually need long term is very, very important. And we would always be asking our clients to go and have those checks.
Yeah, and you see, we're always asking, and I think, anticipate the news as much as they do, because it shows, yes, it's working. But again, you see, as you said, this has to be, periodically assessed, because imagine the situation: a person with a huge trauma, huge grief, has been put on medication and never reassessed.
Yes.
And then you might be taking those pills, for years.
Yes.
And then we're talking about cumulative effects, or, buildup of side effects, this being covered, and so on and so on. While what you need to do, in fact, is to see, hey, when did it start? We look at the homeopathic timeline. What has happened prior to this? How did you get in that, situation? What led to this? And, again, homeopathy, we're addressing the heart issues, blood pressure issues, but you see, at the same time, the remedies are so versatile that another facet of that remedy deals with your grief. Well, Natmur, for example. Okay, what doctors tell you when you have high blood pressure? Reduce the salt. Natmur is made out of salt.
Yes.
Okay, and it governs water metabolism in the body, water balance, but is a tremendous deep acting grief remedy. Yeah, and therefore they also, I think, remedy for the heart.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got all aspects of that, haven't we? All aspects of, heart, obviously, for obvious reasons, affects all aspects of the body, doesn't it? It's going to be so interesting for people to be able to come and learn about what's happening. And I know that some of the side effects of the blood pressure medications gives people that eternal clearing the throat signal, and there's so many side effects that people just take for granted, and I'm sure that they will be more than happy to come and attend your webinars, and I know that you're already writing ebooks and things about this, so that you can just help people begin to learn more about themselves, about their body, and about these diseases and the choices that they have.
Oh, definitely. I think, there's so much to this. Okay. And I think we as a homeopaths, if we can do more, okay, talk to people, show them things, even the ebook, okay, or webinar, when we can say, hey, guys, this is cholesterol. Okay. This is what it does. It is a good thing, but it can be a bad thing. The same like anything else. If you drink too much water, you're gonna die. If it's too much oxygen in the air, you're gonna die. And the same cholesterol is needed, is essential, but when the imbalance happens, this is where the problem. Now, what can we do about this? You could do so much more, providing you were given that information. Yeah. And this is where we come to the picture. And I think webinars or courses, whichever way we gonna deliver, I think is huge opportunity for the people to learn something more, and therefore then improve the quality of their own lives.
Exactly.
I mean, not only their own lives, but it's just look, stroke as a consequence of cardiovascular problem. It not only affects the person, who is, more or less, their life has changed, but the family, who have to take care of that person, it is huge topic. And I think, we can help with this, and we can touch on any aspect of that.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for coming and talking to me about this, Bart, because
thank you very much, Mary.
Yeah, it just gives people more opportunity to learn more about the choices with their own health. And so what we're going to do, we'll put the link of the group down below in the notes, so that people can come and visit you and start beginning asking questions and finding out what it is that they need to know to make more choices.
Oh, definitely we'll be there to answer all those questions and to help. So yeah, definitely, guys, come and see us in the group.
Lovely. Look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.
Thank you very much, Mary. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bart, for going through everything that you're doing with homeopathy, supporting the heart. It's really, really interesting talking with you. Next week, I'm going to be talking to Dr. Anthony De Pontis about natural health the history of natural medicine, where it comes from, understanding the difference between natural and mainstream medicine, and what is needed to regain optimal health. It sounds like it's going to be a real good one. I look forward to seeing you there. If you've enjoyed today, please do leave us a review, like, give us a thumbs up, and subscribe to our channels. See you soon.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode and look forward to listening to our next one. Please don't forget to follow our podcast on your chosen channel, and please do leave us a review so we can continue to share homeopathy with as many people as possible. If you do have any questions, please do reach out to us on any of our social platforms mentioned in the show notes. We at Homeopathy 24/7 hope to empower you on your natural health journey.